Hello everyone, this is Mohammad Mazharul Haq from ISL Engineering College. Welcome to today's class of network theory. Today we will start the topic impedance matching. We all know about the resonant circuit. What is a resonant circuit? We know that the XL is equals to XC. If the inductive reactance is equal to the capacitive reactance, then the condition in the circuit occurs that is called as resonance. So what is Q? We all know that the Q is the quality factor. Quality factor is of the resonant circuit. The quality factor of the resonant circuit was defined to be equal to the ratio of center frequency of the circuits to its 3 dB bandwidth. In general, we can write here quality factor is equals to Fe by F2 minus F1. Fe by F2 minus F1. The loaded Q of a resonant circuit depends upon three main things: the source resistance Rs, the load resistance RL, and the component Q as defined. So the important components here are Rs, RL, and Q, the quality factor. So the resonant depend on these three factors, and we will see that how this circuit is being operated now. The effect of Rs and RL on loaded Q. If you see the figure here, in the figure Rs is given 50 and Rs is equals to 1000. So that is being plotted on the graph. That is being plotted on the graph there. So if you see Rs is equals to 1000, Rs is equals to 50, then what you are seeing here is you are plotting this one. At the cursor you are having, and you are plotting from 50. And the Q is equals to 22.4, that is from the 1000 ohm source. For this 1000 ohm source, the quality factor here is 1.1 ohm. For a 50 ohm source, it is like this. And for a 1000 ohm source, the mapping or the graph is like this for the attenuation versus frequency graph. Attenuation versus frequency graph, we see that the quality factor that is being drawn is Q is equals 22.4 for the 1000 ohm source, if it is 1000 ohm source, and for 50 ohm source it is nothing but a line which is having the graph like this. Okay, if you see this graph, we can say that the Rs and RL if the values are increasing, then the graph also changes for the quality factor. By this particular slide, we can say, seeing this slide, we can say that the attenuation versus frequency band, frequency graph has the quality factor graph for two different source resistances as shown in the graph. And coming to the next slide, effect of Q versus XP. What is XP? Q versus XP we are finding out here. So the large inductor and the small capacitor, if the inductor is large, some 50 Nh, and small capacitor 25 picofarad, then and the resistance is 50 ohms, we see that here quality factor is equals to 1.1 for the 50, that is 1.1 quality factor, and F is equals to 142.35 megahertz. And here in the next figure, B figure, which is having a small inductor and a large capacitor, we see that Q is equals to 22.4 and F is equals to 142.35 megahertz. So the frequency is same, whereas the quality factor Q is equals to 22.4 has been changing. Now the small inductor and large capacitor are there because we are changing the capacitor as well as inductor. Once we are using a large inductor and a small capacitor, and other thing is in the second circuit we are using a small inductor and large capacitor. Now we will see this graph how it is varying. If you see this graph, attenuation versus frequency graph, you see that here you are having the quality factor 22.4 as well as 1.1. Is the quality factor 1.1 is the outer graph, and the quality factor 22.4 is a graph that is having a point at this peak and coming back to the normal base area. So these things you have to remember that the quality factor depends mostly on the parameters used in the circuit. like the capacitor and the inductor circuit, how they are varying. If you see the circuit there, then we can say that this particular circuit is having the elements resistance, capacitance and inductance, and variations of these particular circuit may vary the graph of the attenuation versus frequency while we are doing it in a real circuit. If the real circuit, if you do these values, variable resistor and variable inductor and variable capacitor, then we can find these variations. Now here in this graph we are seeing that the 50 ohm resistance is fixed. Now we will talk about the maximum power transfer. Already we know about the maximum power transfer, that the maximum power transfer occurs. In the maximum power transfer occurs, then this RL is equal to RS. So load resistance is equal to source resistance. We all know that the maximum transfer theorem states that RS is equals to RL. And having a voltage source, so Vs, in the circuit shown here, if you see that RS is 1 ohm and RL is equals to, not given here, but if we find out that RL is equal to RS, then definitely the maximum power will be transferred at RL, load resistance RL. So now we will substitute the value of the RL and find out the maximum power transfer. Now in DC circuits, the maximum power will be transferred from a source to its load if the load resistance equals to the source resistance. So in this graph, we are able to see that the maximum power is transferred at RL. RL is equals to RS. The maximum power will be transferred. P1 is the normal power and this is the RL, resistance graph and power graph. Y-axis P power is there and x-axis it is load resistance. Now the load resistance starting from 0.1 increase, the power has been increased and the power ranging, reaching a maximum value at 1 and again coming back to 10 here. So we see that the maximum power transfer has been occurred at the RL. So the maximum power transfer, the source ZS with a series reactant component Jx, that is inductor, and its complex conjugate load, that is minus Jx, that is series with RL. So we see that in the maximum power transfer theorem we are having a RS and Jxs and its complex conjugate. Its complex conjugate is nothing but RL and minus Jx. So the load Jx component load in series and thus cancel each other, leaving only RS and RL which are equal to the definition of the maximum power transfer. Since RS and RL are equal, maximum power transfer occurs. Since RS and RL are equal, maximum power transfer occurs and these component, reactive component, they get cancelled and remaining is only RS and RL as is shown in the circuit below here. So if you observe these things, then we will move to the next thing, that is the L network. Already we have studied about the high pass and low pass filters and also all the type of M derived filters and lattice type network as well as pi network also. So they had different configurations and the impedance values were also changing there, that to find out the characteristic impedance we were using the T network and pi network. So first of all we study about this circuit here, the L network. What is the L network circuit? In the figure A it is given a low pass circuit which is having here Zs and L as this source side, it is having Zs and L, and here at the end, that is C and ZL are placed in the parallelly to the circuit in low pass. And here also we see in the B circuit that Zs is in parallel with capacitor and inductor is in series with ZL. So this is one configuration of L type and this is one configuration of L type. And in the high pass, you see that the high pass filter has Zs and C in series and L and ZL in parallel, L and ZL in parallel. And in the high pass circuit, other configuration is given in D figure, that is you are having a source as well as Zs and you are having inductance in parallel, and in the last the capacitor and the impedance ZL impedance is kept in series. So you can see the variations of low pass as well as variations of high pass here. So the different variations are here Zs and L are in series, but here Zs and C are in parallel. Here Zs and C are in series and Zs and L are in parallel. So in high pass and low pass, you can see that in the low pass the C and ZL are in parallel and L and ZL are in series. Here L and ZL are in parallel and here C and ZL are in series. So if you notice the difference of these configurations in the L network, we can proceed to the next thing. The simple black box analysis now. Source, what is source is equals to 100 ohms and the load is equals to 1000 ohms. If the source and the load, they are different values, 100 ohm and 1000 ohm. So in this situation, the available power from source would be about 4.8 dB. So the power available would be 4.8 dB. So the maximum power transfer that is done by forcing the 100 ohm source to see 100 ohms when it looks into impedance matching network. But how? We are forcing that, we are making that 100 ohms network to match with the other 100 ohms network in the load side. So how to match this impedance? So we will start this thing. The first step, simply place minus J 333 ohm capacitor is placed across the 1000 ohm load resistor. So what we are doing here, see here, minus J33 ohm and 1000 ohm resistor is there. We are keeping only this J33 minus J333 and 1000 ohms in parallel. So after keeping it in parallel, we find out the impedance. As our topic is impedance matching only, then what we are doing here, Z is equals to XC RL by XC plus RL, which is XC, here XC is minus J333 and XL is, RL is 1000 ohms. So Z is equals to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, that is in parallel form. So it is minus J333 into 1000 by minus J333 plus 1000. If you are making this into a polar form, from rectangular to polar form, we have to convert these values, as the numerator is also in this magnitude is 1000 and here also it is rectangular form. What we do is we convert it into a polar form here. So from rectangular to polar, if you convert, you get an angle also. So if you get an angle for AC source like that, 315 at an angle minus 71.58 degrees. Again converting into this rectangular form, 100 minus J300 ohms, we get the impedance. So instead of keeping this 1000 ohm resistor, we keep the impedance there, impedance at the value of RL. Now impedance, now that we have an apparent series 100 minus J300 ohms impedance for a load. So this is apparent series, we can say that instead of R, we are keeping minus J300 and 100 ohms. That is 100 minus J300 ohms, as from the equation here, Z is equals to 100 minus J300 ohms. We will be drawing the branch for it. So in this branch, we see that it is minus J300 and 100 ohms, that is Z1. Okay. To match the impedance, all we must do to complete the impedance match to 100 ohm source. How is this impedance matching done now? Now the 100 ohm source is to add an equal and opposite J300 ohm reactance in series. So bring a 300 ohm series, J300 ohm series, and make it in series added to the minus J300 plus 100 ohms. If you add this, then what becomes is, then this 300 and minus 300 ohms gets cancelled here. This is a reactance, this is an inductive reactance, this is the capacitive reactance. XL minus XC are having the same values. So the making them subtract makes it to 0 and the remaining thing only is 100 ohms. Now we have seen that the source resistance is 100 ohms as well as the load resistance is 100 ohms. Now the impedance has been matched. The source impedance has matched to the load impedance. So we see that the new impedance Z2 is equals to 100 ohms. Okay. Now this matching has been done and now we are able to see that the circuit which was given to us has been changed to the 100 ohm resistor. So seeing this circuit what was given to us, black box analysis, source 100 ohm and J300 and minus J333 and 1000 ohms, what we did was, what it was kept in this particular box or dotted line, we had made it change by the series and parallel combination, and after doing the series and parallel combination, what we did it as rectangular and polar form, and then after doing the rectangular and polar form, we got the value 100 minus J300 ohms and we had made a branch for it, and in the branch again we have taken this part and included in the main circuit. After including in the main circuit, we have seen that the two reactants have been cancelled and therefore the 100 ohm resistor is remained. So what did we understand from this? Summary. The function of shunt component of the impedance matching network is to transfer a larger impedance down to a smaller value with a real part equal to the real part of the other terminating impedances. In our case, the 100 ohm source. In the previous problem what we have seen, the function of shunt component of the impedance matching network is to transform a larger impedance down to a smaller value with a real part equal to real part of the other terminating impedance, means load impedance. The series impedance matching element then resonates or cancels any reactive component present, thus leaving the source driving an apparently equal load for optimum power transfer. So impedance matching is also a concept where the maximum power transfer is being utilized here, and this utilization of maximum power transfer theorem here, we see that the series and the shunt components are being solved and the impedances has been matched. So for this condition, what we see is Qs is equals to Qp is equals to Xs by Rs, that is Xs by Rs source reactance by source resistance. So we write here Rp by Xp. If you want to write the quality factor in terms of rectangular format, Rs minus Jxs is equals to Rp into Jxp by Rp minus Jxp. So Rs is equals to Rp into Xp square by Rp square plus Xp square, and Xs is equals to Rp square into Xp by Rp square plus Xp square. So from this, for this condition, what we do is primary and secondary we are taking Rp by Rs, like the load side as well as the source side. Rp by Rs is equals to 1 plus Qs square, that is equals to 1 plus Qp square also. So with this condition, Rp by Rs is equals to 1 plus Qs square is equals to 1 plus Qp square. Now equation for design of the impedance matching. Now we see that Qs is equals to Qp is equals to square root of Rp by Rs minus 1, and Qs is equals to Xs by Rs, and Qp is equals to Rp by Xp. Therefore Qs is equals to the Q of the series leg, Qp is equals to Q of the shunt leg, and Rp is equals to the shunt resistance. Now by seeing this figure, we see that the impedance has been matched. The impedance has been matched like this, that the source is being kept here and Rs is the source and Xs is the reactance. After keeping the reactance Rs and Xs, this Xp is being kept as reactance and Rp is the load resistance. Rp is the load resistance now. Now Qs is equals to Xs by Rs. So here Xp is equal to shunt reactance and Rs is equal to the series resistance and Xs is equal to the series reactance. From that Rp is equal to shunt reactance and Xp is equal to shunt reactance. From this the quantities Xp and Xs may either capacitive or inductive reactance, but each must be the opposite type. Once Xp is chosen as a capacitor, for example, Xs must be an inductor and vice versa. The quantities of Xp and Xs may be either capacitive or inductive reactance, but each must be of the opposite type. Once Xp is chosen a capacitor, for example, Xs must be an inductor and vice versa. Now we take example, we design a circuit to match a 100 ohm source to a 1000 ohm load at 100 megahertz. Assume that the DC voltage must also be transferred from the source to load. The need for a DC path between source and load dictates the need for an inductor in the series leg. So if you see here Zs, L, C and ZL, we see that circuit here, the source impedance as well as inductance, capacitor and ZL. The solution for it is Qs is equals to Qp is equal to square root of 1000 by 100 minus 1, that is root 9, and the quality factor Qs is equals to 3. We have already seen that Xs is equals to Qs into Rs, that is equal to 3 into 100, and it is equals to 300 ohms, that is inductive reactance, and Xp is equals to Rp by QP, that is equals to 1000 by 3, and it is 333 ohms, that is capacity. Now for the final circuit, L is equals to XS by omega, that is equals to 300 by 2 pi into 100 into 10 power 6, that is equals to 477 nano Henry. C is equals to 1 by omega XP, that is equals to 1 by 2 pi into 100 into 10 power 6 into 333, that is equals to 4.8 picofarad. We see that 100 ohms, 477 nano Henry and 4.8 picofarad and 1000 ohms are the circuit here by designing L and C. L is equal to XS by omega, C is equal to 1 by omega XP. By seeing this circuit, we say that we can calculate the L and C values depending upon the XS and XP values from the given values of 100 and 1000 ohms resistor. Coming to this, we are completing here the capacitance value and the inductance value depending upon the matching of the impedances. So in the next class, we will see about the state space representations. Okay, I want to conclude my class here, students. So we will continue in the next class. Thank you.